2, 3.
All right, welcome to the OffBeat Sports Podcast. We're here with Aiden. He'll be joining us for this little mini episode. So here we go.
Most overrated and underrated NFL players. So mine's Dak Prescott because he was offered the
For what?
most overrated because he was offered the highest contract ever offered to an NFL quarterback, and he declined it and said he wanted more, which is the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life.
That's bull.
That doesn't make him overrated, though.
And he doesn't deserve it, and everyone thinks so highly of him.
He hasn't done anything to deserve.
He's done a lot, actually.
Yeah,
I would argue. What?
He hasn't really brought the Cowboys much far at all in the playoffs when it actually matters, where he could earn his money.
He doesn't. I'm not saying he deserves the money, but I wouldn't call him overrated because I don't think he gets really much respect from the NFL fan base.
Actually, I kind of agree with Nick there. Like, he gets a lot of negativity. He doesn't really get that. Like, he's overrated within his franchise where they think he's something like bigger than he is, but I think within the NFL world, he's not really rated that highly.
Yeah, he might throw some picks, but he always is up there in the league leaders in passing yards, always up there in touchdowns. Every year he's been a starter. So, and I mean, I would argue that like his receivers are pretty good, but he's had Jason Garrett as a head coach his whole career. So
fair. Well, it'll be interesting how he does.
I'd like to be able to see what he does with McCarthy.
Yeah, with McCarthy, I assume he'll be better.
But I'm gonna pick Baker Mayfield as my overrated player because I think people hype him up way too much. He was way too overhyped coming into the league. I think he just very underwhelming. The Browns were supposed to be some big thing last year, and they flopped. And he has the receiving core, and he just did nothing with it.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's pretty overrated. He really hasn't done anything at all, and he doesn't have the mindset that a winning quarterback has.
He's 100% overrated. He came into last year. They had all this expectation. They talked about how hyped their offense was going to be, and then they fell flat on their faces. And did they go 500 or did they go 7-8?
7-9.
7-9.
They weren't.
I don't know.
I think they were under 500.
They were under 500.
They fell flat on their faces.
Unless they tied a game,
they at all.
7-9.
What about you, or Nick?
Nick, what you got?
I got Odell. I was actually thinking about Baker Mayfield too, but Odell is still considered like a top receiver. And over the last few years, I don't know, maybe it's just Baker Mayfield, but he's been pretty bad. I wouldn't even say he's like top 25 anymore.
Yeah, how long did it take him to score a touchdown last year?
Long time.
Yeah,
I think he's a very talented receiver, but he can never really translate it, and it might, like I said, it might just be Baker Mayfield.
Yeah,
in general.
Yeah, I want to see more. I want to see more out of him.
Yeah, and I think because even though Baker Mayfield's not the greatest QB, it also the wide receivers contribute to that. I mean, like Baker Mayfield had the wide receivers to do it, but they still need to get open. They still need to do their jobs, and I don't know if he did that last year, but still.
Yeah.
Aiden, what are you thinking? What's your overrated pick?
I was going to agree with Nick. I was going to say Odell Beckham because there was all the hype around him when he was traded from the Giants to the Browns. Going to be the best receiver on the Browns. But over the last year, it seems like it's more Jarvis Landry, actually, who's had more production than Odell.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems wherever he goes, he's just kind of whining about his condition.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think that's a very good point where like
on the field.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point where he's kind of he's been complaining and he's just not even the best receiver on his team right now. Like even though
that was
Landry didn't play great, but granted, he played much better than Odell, and
you could argue it with so many guys though.
Yeah, he definitely outplayed Odell.
You could argue like the overrated thing with so many guys in the league, like. There's just so many different guys that you can argue that for. I think, like, personally, he's not highly rated, but I talked to you guys about it before. Like, Derek Carr. Like, I know, like, maybe he's not looked at as, like, super great, but the money he makes for, like, the way – just, like –
he's not a franchise QB.
He had some promise when he got that contract, but, yeah, he's been pretty bad.
He just had such a downturn. There's other guys, too.
That also might be his receiving core.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I just think
He didn't do anything when he had Amari Cooper.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
true.
he still has Darren
there's just so
Waller.
many things that you could
That's
just
true.
say, and there's other guys too. You know, it's not just him, but I think I don't know. It's just overall, there's guys that you can say, you can look at and be like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know, like Michael Thomas, for example. Michael Thomas is extremely overrated. Like he had a really good season.
I don't think Michael Thomas is overrated at all.
No, but
Yeah,
I'm not
he's
saying he's bad.
phenomenal.
I'm not saying he's bad. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying he's bad. He's still like a top 20 receiver. But I still there's
Your hat might be a little too tight,
He's
bud.
a top 2 receiver. He's 1 or
Dude.
2.
Your hat might be a little too tight over there.
no, I don't think so.
Dude, you're crazy.
He had like one insane season.
What do you mean?
He was
had a-
insane last year
Yeah,
and this year.
I think Michael Thomas is top 3 receiver in the NFL.
Dude, you're
I think
crazy.
him and DeAndre Hopkins are the top 2 receivers in the league.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
I don't know. There's a way to. I don't know. I'm just saying, like overall,
Yeah,
like
take
talent.
that hat off. That's
The top
squeezing
20
your head.
receiver.
I'm not. I just was throwing out a number. Like, yeah, he's probably top.
I
10.
don't care what you're throwing out. You don't throw out Michael Thomas's name and call him overrated.
Okay,
That's
okay.
bad.
All right, I'll let you explain yourself, Bosie.
Let's hear
I
it.
just think other guys have put up great production and they don't get the recognition that Michael Thomas got
Who?
for his amazing season.
Who?
Okay, Mike Evans. Like, yeah, he was hyped back when it first happened, but like he's still very consistent.
Everyone considers Mike Evans one of the top receivers. in the
Okay, would
league.
you consider him better
Next.
than Michael Thomas?
Nope.
I think he might be better than Michael Thomas, personally. That's not that crazy of a take.
It's not. I wouldn't say it's that crazy
It's not
because
crazy, but like, go to the numbers based on production. Michael Thomas.
I'm just telling you overall. Like I'm just telling you overall. I'm not talking about stats. I'm just talking about overall. Like their
Okay. Okay, sure.
I'm
Right?
saying like
he's
I
not
like.
overrated by any means.
I'm saying I'm not telling you he's bad. I'm telling you
You
I just
called him overrated. He's not overrated.
I like what DeAndre Hopkins, like some other guys, Cooper. There's a couple other guys that I like what they bring to their respective teams.
All right, I like what they bring too, but I'm not calling Michael Thomas overrated.
I'm saying he's overrated in the aspect of what he brings to his team. Like I feel
He
like
brings a lot to his team.
I understand that.
He
There's
brought
other guys that bring more to their teams that
he
don't.
brought a receptions record to his team. He brought
He has the most
runs.
accurate.
He brought a
quarterback of
divisional
all
round
time.
to his team.
Yeah.
He has the most accurate quarterback of all time.
Okay.
Plays in a dome, but yeah.
He's still a great receiver.
Exactly. Wait, no. Nick just backed up my point. He plays in a
He countered your Drew Brees point. Drew Brees played in the dome.
Yeah, but
That
that's
helps his
what makes
accuracy.
it more accurate, which is still backing up my.
I mean, yeah, I think playing in a dome is definitely easier for a receiver, especially if it's like someone on the Patriots whose hands are cold when they're at home. But I think it helps Drew Brees too. But I still would call him a top 2 receiver easily.
I would say he's top 5, and I'm not saying he's bad. I'm just saying.
Okay, all right, fine, but he's not overrated.
Yeah,
He's a
I
phenomenal
think-
receiver.
I think Michael Thomas could really excel on any NFL team you put him on.
Yeah,
He would still get a lot of receptions and yards Pro Bowl season.
Yeah.
he's still gonna do what he does.
Pro Bowl's overrated. That's the biggest overrated thing in the NFL is the Pro Bowl.
Well, it's more about being on the team than the actual game.
But the original Pro Bowl teams make sense. It's just the actual Pro Bowl itself is all the people that don't want or that want to play. They take or all the people who don't want to play don't play, and then they bring in like people that were afterthoughts.
Yeah, like
Like-
Trubisky.
The original,
All right, you guys want to go to underrated?
yeah. All right, Aiden, go first.
All right. For underrated player, I gotta go with Chris Godwin from the Bucks. He had a sneaky good season last year, and on his team, most of the attention right now is focused on Brady, Gronk, Mike Evans, like you said. But people forget Chris Godwin was in the Pro Bowl last year too. He had a great season. I'd say, definitely a top 10 receiver in the league.
I'd agree.
Actually agree
Go
with that. Yeah, he was very good for the Buccaneers last year, and I think he's going to be a very good option for Brady.
Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
think he's pretty highly rated, and he definitely deserves it. I would call him underrated. Even before last season, I'd call him underrated because I still saw a lot of good things from him. But, I mean,
I think
had
he
a great
falls under the
season.
radar.
I would also agree that he's a top 10 receiver.
I think he falls under the radar a lot, though, and he's not.
Yeah.
I think people forget about him in those
Just because
conversations.
he's not the best receiver on his team.
Yeah. You don't hear his name a lot along
Which
with
he
the
would be the
Bucs.
best receiver on a lot of teams.
Oh, yeah.
where most teams.
For me, I'd probably say this is kind of weird because some people wouldn't really think of him as like underrated or overrated. Some people would call him overrated in the past, but Sony Michel, he had a down year, but I think he's a really good running back. And I think like if they can improve on their line, which they've started to, then you'll see him like take another step and like, kind of regain that step that they say he lost. And I think he's someone that like he carried them literally to that championship.
Yeah, well, he had a down year last year because
But the O
Devlin,
line was so bad. You didn't
having no Devlin, no blocking tight ends, no offensive line, no running backs. I don't care how good you are, running backs aren't going to succeed.
Like, and he's. I mean, I'm not telling you he's Barry Sanders. I'm just saying he's a good.
No, I know. No, I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying. Yeah. I'm saying he's underrated, but he like everybody forgets about him because last year he didn't have anything helping him.
Yeah, I feel like his whole line was starting offensive line was injured last year.
Yeah. And
it really helped him
his fullback and his tight ends were gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing about Sony Michel though is as just a running back, forget about everything around him. When the year before last year when he was doing all the run plays, James White was doing all the catching. He was very good, but there's no one thing I'd say he excels at. Like some running backs are like really agile.
He's a good really balanced running back.
But he's just an all around. Yeah, he's balanced.
Yeah,
I think he's pretty good, but I wouldn't say he's top 10 or 15. I'd say he's probably average, maybe top 15. I wouldn't call him top 10 though.
I'd call him top 15. I think there's guys that are definitely better than him that you don't think of. Like I'd put Philip Lindsay ahead of him. Like there's some guys that you don't really think of that I would definitely put ahead of him. But just because they're on kind of whatever teams, or specifically here, like we're not paying attention to Philip Lindsay's of the world because the Broncos suck. But like, he had a really good season. There's some other guys that had really good seasons that you wouldn't think of, or like Josh Jacobs, like he's better. There's some other guys too that are better. Like, I don't know. He's still good though.
I'd expect him to be a top 15 back this season with a healthy line.
It'll be interesting to see what they do with Damian Harris, but I still think that he'll take a step forward as far as Sony Michel. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to see what they have with Harris.
So for mine, I was going to go with Devontae Parker because he has never really had a good quarterback. He had, Rosen last year or Fitzpatrick. I think
Fitzpatrick.
He's a very solid receiver. He's just never had a good situation
Another one of the most
him.
Underrated players of all time, Ryan.
And in the last week of the season, he absolutely shredded the best corner in the league. So I think that's something you can think about, and I think he'll probably have a really good year this year. Even if Fitzmagic still plays, I think he'll have a good year.
I agree with that. I think he had a very good season for himself, playing with a pretty bad team, and I think he was able to put together something with nothing.
I think he kind of came out of his shell because he's kind of always been like a guy that you're like, yeah, he has potential, he's fast, he's talented, but he's never put up any stats. He's never been like that guy.
He's put up decent stats for the quarterback situation he has.
I know. I'm just saying, but he's never.
He also flew under the radar. Really,
he's never jumped off the page.
Yeah.
And you're looking at like a box score of stats because of his quarterback situation. But this year specifically, like you're saying, you could be like, he made the best of that situation, and he absolutely I watched that game against Miami at the end of the year. He made Stephon Gilmore look so bad. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the past couple of years, he's been overshadowed by Jarvis Landry too. So this first year.
And then there was guys like Kenny Stills that got way too much attention, and he was always kind of like an afterthought to so many people because I don't really know why, but I remember people be like, Kenny Stills is so nasty. He's like, well, I feel like Devontae Parker is probably better, but I mean, people.
Yeah, I think given the right quarterback and the right offense in general, he could be really good. Just based on what he did to Stephon Gilmore, Amari Cooper couldn't do that. The best receivers in the league couldn't do that, and he did. And I think it's just really his team that kind of dragged him down.
Well, he definitely flew under the radar until that game, and I think once that game happened, he might have people started seeing it, but he definitely didn't get the recognition he deserved.
Yeah.
All right. Well, final pick, my pick. I'm gonna go with Cortland Sutton from Denver, another receiver. He put together a pretty good year for himself with again a poor quarterback. Room. He had changing quarterbacks. between Locke and Flacco, and I think he was still able to produce. He made some phenomenal catches, and he put together some good stats too.
Yeah, that's a really good pick. Now that you're saying that, I kind of wish I went with him, but he made some tremendous plays last year, especially with the quarterback change. And I mean, I think Locke's decent, but I think he will be decent. But
yeah, no, I think he will now. But
Yeah.
he was still playing with a quarterback that's still getting comfortable, and they have to develop that connection. And I think next year he's really going to be.
I thought of another good one. Adam Thielen.
No,
he gets some good recognition. But
yeah, I feel like
honestly, I think
well
he'd be
known.
more on the overrated side because he didn't have a great season.
I wouldn't call him overrated, but
I would call him
mean,
perfectly rated.
I feel like he gets overshadowed by Stephon Diggs, or he did.
No,
Overshadowed by Stephon Diggs a little bit.
I mean, yeah, all right. Well, I mean,
we'll see when there's no Diggs next year.
Yeah, we'll see how he does.
Yeah, I know. But, yep.
All right. Well, thank you, Aiden, for joining us for that nice little mini episode we had. And, I mean, yeah.
Well, thanks for having me, guys.
No problem.